Hey, what's up, hardheads? Welcome back to my channel, and today we are reviewing the first episode of Lovecraft Country. If you remember, just a couple months ago, I did a reaction trailer to the first trailer of Lovecraft Country, and I did say I wanted to review each episode of this season, or of the series, just because it looks so interesting. I love the characters in there. I love the book. I told you guys I was going to end up reading a book, and I'm still reading a book, but I'm way past the part that happened in the first episode, so I already seen what all happened there. And guys, I was super excited for this show. I was counting down the days. If you follow me on social media, I was putting it all on my Instagram and Twitter. You guys don't understand, I haven't been this excited for a show since, like, I guess American Horror Story, because I absolutely love that show. So what I'm doing with this review is that I'm not going to go through each section of the episode like how I did with my AHS 1984 reviews. I'm kind of going to give you just like a brief run through of it. I'm not going to explain everything that happened, just because those videos are long as fuck, and I'm not too sure if you guys like them or not. I mean, if you do like that, let me know in the comments below if you like that I explain the episode as I go through it, or if you just want me to go just run through it and make it kind of quicker for you guys. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. We got Lovecraft Country, which was made by Misha Green. She had done Underground, that also featured Journey Smollett, which was an amazing series, so I'm happy that she's doing this show right here, because it's made from a book from Matt Ruff, which I'm currently reading right now. Also got executive producer J.J. Abrams and Jordan Peele, and a lot of people got a nasty taste in their mouth when they hear Jordan Peele, whatever, just because they feel like he always ruins everything, or it's always like a hit or miss with Jordan Peele fans. But I don't know, this is not his show. He executive produced it, but it's Misha Green's, and I love the direction that she's going so far with the show. If you guys don't know nothing about this show, it's about a guy named Atticus Black who's going on a journey with his uncle George and his best friend Letitia, looking for his father because his father went missing while in the 1950s during Jim Crow's America. And if you guys don't know what Jim Crow is, look that up. It's a horrible era, I guess I should say, around that time, where racism was at its biggest, and it's just bad. So imagine going on a road trip with your friends and your family relative, and you're terrified, or no matter where you go or stop, you're coming across a racist person that wants to kill you and potentially harm you. Well, not even potentially, harm you. So you have to deal with that, along with looking for your father, also dealing with monsters. And I know it's a little weird, because he's like, alright, you're dealing with a little bit of realism here, you know what I mean? But at the same time, that's why it's called Lovecraft Country, because you're dealing with some racist, ignorant, just horrible people, and then you also dealing with monsters on top of that. So you just don't have one thing against you, you have another, and the other one doesn't care who you are, the color of your skin. It just wants to devour you. So you're following these three characters going through this, and so far in this episode, it had portrayed everything what I read so far in the book, and at least the first 65-70 pages. It's just so exciting to see that you got these strong actors in this era, and it just seemed like you're immersed into this world, and you're put inside this world of craziness and unfortunately racism, because as you watch the show, you see the type of stuff that they're dealing with and what they're going through, and just being taunted and interrogated and attacked and stuff like that. It makes you so upset, and it just shows right there, yeah, there's these monsters out here in the show, but I think these people are the real monsters. So the episode starts off with Atticus in this black and white times. He's like in the army, you seem like he's just battling, other people. But then it slowly transitions into color, and you start seeing aliens and monsters and just whole bunch of craziness that came right out of the video game. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like something from the movie Ready Player One. That's how crazy everything was happening. I had to watch the scene a couple of times. I'm like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. This is amazing. But at the same time, I know this is not real. And if this is real and this is happening in the future, they just giving us a little taste, then I don't know what to think of myself. I shouldn't be here enjoying this, because this is just too much for my own good. But come to find out, it was just a dream. Atticus is a big sci-fi nerd, like a whole bunch of us, and he's sitting there enjoying, his book. He fell asleep on a bus, and he's on a bus with a whole bunch of white people. There's only him and another black lady in the back of the bus, because back in that time, black people can't sit in the front of the bus, unfortunately, until Rosa Parks changed all that shit. Haha. But from right here, you already see the racism, the segregation, because, you know, when they get off the bus, you know, the white people get a ride home because the bus breaks down. So they get another ride home where the two black people have to walk to their destination, which was fucked up. Then we fast forward to Atticus' Uncle George with his wife Hippolyta, and I hope I'm saying that right. I think it's Hippolyta. And this little session right here, I'm just like, okay, even the older people's getting some love in this little, you know, show right here. And I'm not saying this graphic because obviously it's clearly they're showing love to each other, if you know what I mean. But, you know, they doing a little action there. You know, Courtney B. Vance's George, you know, his character is doing a little something to his wife or whatever. And then that is interrupted because Atticus is now home. And they're having their conversation about, you know, Atticus' father because, you know, he went missing. So they're trying to figure out what's going on with him. And, you know, Atticus is, looking through the books. He ends up finding Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft's books or whatever. And I'm happy that they included this in the show because this was also in the book. And, you know, and Atticus don't know much about H.P. Lovecraft, and George is kind of explaining it to him, but he's just like, well, this dude is kind of fucked up. He's a racist, you know. Great word, but he's a racist, which is true. So I'm kind of happy that they put that in the show because that's what's needed to be heard. Quick story, as I was telling people that I was going to start watching the show and start reading the book, a lot of people just like, oh, H.P. Lovecraft, I love his work, you know, he's amazing. But they did not know that he was a racist and he did not like black people. He didn't really care for like Jewish people. Like he just was kind of like, you know, Walt Disney. You know, he was kind of like another version of him, which was horrible. So a lot of people are fans of these people, you know, of their work and their artistry and, you know, their visions and all that fun stuff. But when you dig a little bit deeper to find out who these people actually are, you're probably going to be disappointed. So I've been doing about H.P. Lovecraft for a while because when I like to get into somebody, I like to do a little bit of research. So I'm happy that they're doing this show and kind of like flipping it and kind of like saying, hey, gotcha, we're doing a show somewhat, a little bit, maybe tiny bit about you, but everybody's black. Then we get to Letitia fucking Lewis, who is played by Journey Smollett. And I say her name like that because later on in the episode, she kind of takes control of some situations and she had to let people know who the hell she is, and I absolutely agree with her. I love her. So then there's this block party. Everybody's having a great time. Letitia's out there, and then you see her half-sister Ruby out there on the stage singing, just, giving us awesome vocals. Everybody's having a great time. And what I love about the show also so far, that the colors is beautiful in the show. Like the color of Ruby's, I think she was wearing a blue dress, and then there was like these pink lights and just the contrast and just those blending together. Just everything in this scene right here was just giving me life and everything. It was just amazing. I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was just a great time. I felt like I was there with them. And then when Atticus is out there and he puts on the fire hydrant, because earlier in the show you see police, getting mad at these kids because they're in the fire hydrant, so they block it. So Atticus turns it back on. So then he puts on the water. Everybody's getting wet by it while enjoying the music, having a good time. And you just see these color hues going through the water, and just everybody. It was just a beautiful scene, and I just absolutely loved it. So again, Misha Green, the cinematographer, whoever's involved, you guys did an absolutely amazing job. Then we get an amazing scene where Letitia and Ruby are on stage having a great time singing. Everybody's enjoying themselves. Then later on, they have a little conversation. Ruby is just like, hey, you only got 2 days to stay with me. Get a job. Get the hell out. Going into the next day, Atticus and George is getting ready to go, go on this road trip. Look for, Atticus' father, George's brother, whatever. Letitia is going with them because she wanted to be dropped off at one of her relatives' house or whatever. And so she's going along for the ride, which was a great idea because I have to say Journey Smollett gives so much energy into this character. Like, Letitia was already great in the book, and I already seen her as this, fun, but like firecracker, like she didn't take no bullshit. But seeing it on the screen and seeing Journey Smollett portray this character and give this character that type of energy plus more, I absolutely live. And so far, she is my favorite character in the show. She goes along the ride with Atticus, who is played by Jonathan Majors. I'm so sorry, I forgot to give him a shout out. Jonathan Majors, great actor. Again, they chose a great person to just play this role because Atticus, played by Jonathan Majors, is just just everything, his look, his build, just, I love him. I actually want him after this, just by this first episode, because this first episode was so epic. I want him to play, if they decide to do a black edition of Green Lantern, I would love to see Jonathan Majors play Green Lantern, because he just gives me all of that, just face and build, and he just seems like a lot of fun too, like a good dude. So yes, Jonathan Majors, Green Lantern, putting out there in the universe, bro. Out there. So the three go on this road trip. Letty ends up going to her relatives, but that doesn't work out because she's already arguing with one of her people, whatever. So she ends up leaving the house and just continue to go on this road trip looking for Atticus' father, because she's like, all right, well, that didn't work out, might as well just come along with y'all. And these scenes here is so hard to watch, because not just in the beginning where we got that little taste of racism as far as, you know, Atticus and that lady on the bus, but on this, from here on out, it gets a little cringy and as far as watching, because it's just so bad. Like, I'm not going to say I can't believe what I was watching, because I've seen worse things, obviously realistic stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I've seen real stuff and real images and real documentaries and stuff. So this wasn't a lot, but it was still a lot to take in, if you know what I mean. There wasn't too much going on, but it was still enough to get annoyed by. Like, while they're on this road trip, you know, they're getting, you know, antagonized and kind of like make fun of by these like white kids doing the whole monkey gestures, because Atticus was sitting there, you know, at the gas station eating his banana, and you see these like white kids making monkey gestures and making the noises and stuff like that. That was kind of annoying. But Atticus is like me, because I would threw that banana peel right in his damn face. I probably would have lost my temper, but I'm happy that he didn't, because then that would result into police coming and Atticus potentially going to jail, or maybe even worse. So I'm happy he only threw the banana peel at the bull's face and kind of kept it moving. But they also come across some billboards that just wasn't sitting right with me too. So once they leave that gas station, you see like this billboard with Aunt Jemima, with the whole, you know, racist thing with that. And it's funny that they filmed this a long time ago, because if you guys now know, they're now taking Aunt Jemima's, you know, face off of the syrups because of all this racial shit that's going on in the world right now. I mean, it's a shame that it took all of this to happen for them to do that, but I mean, whatever, that's another story. But it's crazy how they added that into, you know, the show, which was kind of just like, Also, there's another scene where there's a group of black people waiting in this line, and there's a billboard on top of them, and it says, "World's highest standard of living. There's no way like the American way." Now, that also rubbed me the wrong way, because you see that sign, you see like a happy white family in a car, and you see the black people in the line waiting underneath that. It's just so horrible. And then there's another billboard talking about sundown towns, Negroes got to be out before 7, whatever. It was a lot. It was a lot, y'all. So I don't know, but it was like that in the book. So I already kind of knew what to expect, but just seeing it, you know, visually onto the screen, I'm just like, whoa. So Letty, Atticus, and George make a stop at a diner or whatever, and, you know, these white people's looking at them like they're crazy, you know, issue with that. Letty ends up hearing the boy that's, you know, inside of the restaurant calling whoever to say, hey, they just sat here like they own the place, blah, 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 kind of just exaggerating the situation. They didn't do nothing. They just wanted to be served. They just wanted food. And Letty just comes running out like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. So she ends up getting in the car, driving them. Atticus and George get in the car. They go zoom in, you know, far away, zooming off. And then they're getting chased by these rednecks with rifles. And this scene right here was crazy too, because they never let Letty drive, because they always make fun of her driving, but now this time she has control. And Letty got some awesome driving skills. Like, George and all of them give her a hard time, but she kind of did that. Like, they're chasing them, you know, shooting and, you know, whatever. She's swerving and kind of cutting off and, you know, taking detours. Like, she knows what the hell she's doing. And it's just crazy. Like, this whole scene, my adrenaline was rushing, and I just couldn't, like, I was looking like, oh my gosh, like, come on guys. And I know nothing really was going to happen at that point, but I was just like, I can't believe this. Like, go, 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 Letty, go. I was just too into it. They end up being saved by this, like, you know, this silver Cadillac car or whatever. It ends up cutting the other car off that was chasing them. The car ends up flipping, I guess killing the dudes in it. And, you know, Letty, George, and Atticus is safe for now. They end up going into the woods. They end up hearing something in the bushes or whatever, because, you know, they have to take a little piss break. And Atticus is explaining to Letty that, oh yeah, those are Shoggoths. Shoggoths. She's like, what the hell is that? And he kind of explained, it's these monsters with all these eyes, blah, 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 blah. But she was like, whatever, sure, okay. So then a police car comes up behind them while George is in the car. They all go there. This policeman also is antagonizing them. I'm talking about, well, hey, you know, this is a sundown town. Do you know what that means? They're just like, yes, okay. So they was like, all right, well, you gotta get out here before 7 something, because that means if, you know, when the sun goes down, that means I can do whatever I want with you. I can hang you from these trees, yada, yada, yada. So there's like, all right, well, let's get out of here. And I remember this scene was in the book too, but I think they changed it up a bit, because I believe Atticus was by himself when this situation happened. But this time it's with George and Letty included. So I'm happy that they kind of switched it around and kind of just, you know, added them 3 versus just Atticus being by himself. Because that was intense there. And this scene was already intense, but if they just had Atticus by himself, it's just like, I don't know how they would have conveyed that into the show. But, you know, this policeman was kind of just like bothering them, and so they're trying to get out before the sun is down. He's chasing them. They make it through the next town just in the nick of time before the sun goes down, but then there's more police at the end of that town. So now they're trapped, and it goes into a scene where they're all walking into the woods at dark. This was also in the book, but they changed some things around again because there's some conversations cut off. But, you know, they're in the woods, and then, you know, they're pretty much just going to be killed in the woods. That's what the police wants to do, because it's a sundown town. That's what they do, unfortunately. And they hear some rustling in the bushes, and then all of a sudden we just see this beast real quick, you know, take one of the officers, but you're just like, what the hell is that? And then another one, you know, bites the other officer, and, you know, he gets his arm taken off. You know, Atticus and Letty goes running, you know, they go running into the shed, trying to lock themselves in. The other 2 policemen trying to get in. One of them that got his arm taken off is trying to go in, you know, trying to make himself safe, but he's sitting there still trying to take control of the situation. Atticus is like, fuck this, we need to barricade ourselves. But the stupid white cop wanted to keep just being racist, but at the same time he was letting Atticus. It was just a whole confusing situation. It was too much going on, but I was loving it because these creatures was fucking these people up, and these creatures were horrifying. So George is left by himself. George goes running into the, you know, finding them in the cabin. He goes out there with them. And this whole entire scene from here on out is intense, because you see that the policeman that had his arm like ripped off or whatever and all bitten up with another police officer, he's in there with Letty and Atticus. And George is in there as well. And he's sitting there like asking Atticus like, oh, well, what happens when a vampire bites you know, a person? And you kind of know what that means. They kind of turn into it. So then you see this police officer that's been bit slowly transitioning into this monster. He's transitioning into one of the Shoggoths. As this happening, I forgot to mention that they made Letty go out and run into the field to get into the car or whatever, because these Shoggoths do not like light. They're like, again, they're like vampires. They don't like any bright lights. So the police officer, before he transitioned, was telling like Letty, you go, whatever. The girl go, because he didn't trust Atticus, because he felt like Atticus had a smart mouth, which he does, but for the right reason. So Letty is running like her life depends on it through these woods. This is how people should run in horror movies. Take lessons from Letty, because she was out here in these woods darting it. She finally makes it into the car. The damn Shoggoth is in front of her. She's freaking out. She put the high beams on. It digs itself into the ground. And let me just let you guys know, this Shoggoth is ginormous, gigantic, huge. It digs itself into the ground. It buries itself into the ground. So I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then it comes, another one drops on. I don't know if it's the same one, but another one drops on top of the car. She's freaking out, you know, she ends up driving, she ends up getting George and all of them. Meanwhile, this police officer is, you know, turn into this like Shoggoth. He's already transitioned and he's trying to attack them. You know, they handle that situation. They get him out of here. So they get away and they find their way into Arden, where they was trying to go. Arden is where apparently Atticus's father is at. There's a big building there. They all just stand in front of it. They're all bloody. They look a hot ass mess. It was just pure excitement, adventure, and I was just loving it. I'm happy that the police officer got what he deserved in there. But then the show goes off, and then we're, you know, left with scenes for the next episode. So guys, this episode was a lot of fun. I know a lot of people that seen this episode ahead of time, or a few episodes ahead of time, and it did say that we are in for a treat, and I had to agree. We were in for a treat. This episode, this show, is so much fun. I had a great time watching it. I love the characters. I love the cinematography. they chose the right actors for this show. Jonathan Majors, Joni Smollett, Courtney B. Vance, you know, the director, the creator, Misha Green, and you got Jordan Peele, J.J. Abrams, you know, behind it. The actress who played Hippolyta, Andrew Ellis. Like, you have so many great people in this show, and I was just so happy to see all this melanin on my screen, but it's portrayed in a beautiful way. You guys, I recommend the show. I need you guys to watch. I need you guys to let me know what you thought about the show. If you already seen it, let me know in the comments below. I have to rate this episode a 9.5 out of a 10. I might just be, you know, excited. I might just be high on life just because I just got finished watching it. But right now, I give this episode a 9.5 out of a 10 because it's fucking amazing. And I can't wait for the next episode. That's how excited I am. But yes, guys, this was episode 1, Sundown of Lovecraft Country. Again, I can't wait to review episode 2. I'm going to try to have some guests with me, you know, going forward to discuss it. So have a little discussion reviewing these episodes. So yeah, I'm thinking about that. If you guys would like that, also let me know in the comments below. I know I'm giving you guys a lot of work and a lot of things to do, but I mean, this show causes for an eventful celebration. Like, we should all be experiencing this together, and it's fun to share with people. So why the hell not? But yes, guys, thanks again for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Again, thanks for watching. Bye.